tonight.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is where we are.
Hey, bouncy, bouncy, bounce.
Come on, bounce version. Okay, I'm taking these off because I'm cute and I don't want to have them on. Okay, I hope everything works and we can hear everything. Wait,
Is it on?
Say something?
Say something.
Okay, the things are moving, so that should be good.
Say something.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, action. Action. Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for coming back to play with us. I'm Desiree.
And I'm Benita.
Welcome to the show.
Yes.
How was your week, friend?
Girl, my week has been amazing so far. It's been really good.
That's good.
Yeah. How was your week?
I've been studying.
Good. Because I know you're going to pass that test. Like, I'm feeling all the vibes.
Thank you so much.
All the goodness for you.
I'm feeling all the vibes, too. Okay, let me stop touching stuff. Hold on. It is my bad, y'all. It has been a productive week since the last time we chatted. Just getting prepared. I'm taking a test in a few days. So yeah,
Yes, to productivity.
I took the practice test and passed it. So that's a good thing. Yeah. So that made me feel good about life. But yeah, other than that, that's all I'm ready for it to be over so I can get back to doing other things.
Yes, I feel you. Come on back to life, girl. Life has been great.
Good.
I've been enjoying work lately. Yeah, like I've been flying with some really cool people that I really like and enjoy.
That's always a good thing.
And I don't know, like my pheromones must be popping right now.
Pheromones?
I mean, I'm ovulating. So, like people just pick it up on it. But
milkshake bringing
all the boys to the yard. And I've been enjoying flirting at work. Like, it's just been like these last 3 days. It's so much fun. I feel so alive.
I saw something one day where a lady was like, she operates from a place of wetness.
Okay, ma'am.
She operates, and when she talks to people, when she talks to men, she operates from that place.
I love it. Juiciness brings so much fun to life when things are like juicy and flowing.
And when men be
not dry
over you.
Yes, seriously. It is. It was just so much fun. Like the captain was really cool. And I really enjoyed him.
Okay.
He bought us food like on every single leg, girl. If you buy me food on every single leg, I love you.
That buys food.
And then he was just, I don't know, he just had a swag about him. So he was half Hispanic, half white, with these piercing, beautiful eyes, his thick, luscious hair.
Did you get his number?
No, he is married.
Damn.
But I just love just talking to him and then finding out about his family. And then he was just like, sometimes I didn't realize people were flirting with me. He was like, you didn't recognize that man was flirting with you. We need to get you not single or whatever. He's like, you're too beautiful to be single. I'm like, yes, sir. Do you have any rich millionaire friends that have yachts and boats? And beautiful homes that they're building like yourself?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just, yes, I've been operating from a place of juiciness.
Love that. Wow. It's everything about just being a feminine, yes, operating in that divine feminine. It's always fun. I love it. I love it.
So, what are you breaking free from today, girl?
What am I breaking free from? Today, I am breaking free from anxiety surrounding this exam.
Okay.
Because the closer you get, it starts to build a little bit. But I'm breaking free from it because I know that my steps are ordered.
Yes.
I know that I've been preparing and doing the things that I'm supposed to do.
You've been putting in that work.
I've been putting in the work. And so, you have these little thoughts that come into your head. And it's like, you know what? Those thoughts are here. And now I'm just going to release them. And we're good. And we're
let it go.
And we're going to let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that.
What is that from Frozen? Yes, let that shit go.
Absolutely, 100%. What are you breaking free from, friend?
I think I am breaking free from staying in the box. I just don't want to be in the box anymore. And I'm never in the box, clearly.
No. No, for the longest time that I've known you, You have been outside of that box. But what's making you want to get out of said box?
I think what's making me want to get outside of set boxes, I realize there's so much life to live.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just easier for me to stay in and be in my box, my bubble. But now I just want to, if I desire to do something, even if I have to wake up early, I'm getting out the box. I'm going to get out, go get it, go see it, go feel it, go experience it. All of those good, great things because I'm living from juiciness. And things can't be dry when it's juicy.
No, they cannot. No, they cannot be dry.
Ow.
Juicy
Out of the box.
Juicy box.
Juicy box. Oh my. Now this has turned into a whole nother episode. Juicy box. Okay. What is our topic today? Is it about juicy boxes?
Yes, we're talking about juicy box though.
Juicy box. Juicy box. You got that juicy box. Roll it on that juicy box. Juicy box, juicy box. No.
I am screaming right now. I love it. Absolutely. Baby, if I was asleep before, I'm awake now. Because your ass is crazy. Well, Juicy Box, we are going to get...
Baby, that's my nickname. Please refer to me as that for the rest of this episode. Juicy Box, a.k.a. Benita, okay?
100%. Y'all heard her. Y'all heard her. And I'm putting that in the show notes, too. I'll put it in the show notes. But anyway, we are going to get into our Pioneering Women segment. And in this segment, we are going to be talking about a woman that a lot of people probably know, especially if you are into mental health or you like to learn about mental health or you're in that field, a woman by the name of Brené Brown. Do you know about her?
I love Brené Brown. And she also teaches, right, at U of H.
Which I did not know. She's actually a Texan. She's from San Antonio. And so, yeah, she's a psychologist. She's an author. She's a podcaster. She's a professor. I was actually listening to one of her episodes on the way here to the studio. She's amazing. And anybody that's just, like I said, into mental health knows about her. Somebody actually dubbed her social psychology's biggest star, newest star, or something like that. Because, you know, everybody just knows about her and gets some kind of word or some kind of quote from her work. But her work, speaking of, it actually surrounds courage, vulnerability, shame, and comfort. And so she talks a lot about those things and has a lot of research surrounding those things that produced, you know, content, books, TED Talks, and things like that. She actually came to notoriety from her TEDx talk, The Power of Vulnerability.
I love it.
Yeah, which is really, really good. And it just talks about being able to be vulnerable in different situations and how there is power that comes from that. She also has several other TED Talks that basically, you know, made her a star. Like I said, of social psychology. And it actually led to the creation of a film that she has, a film lecture on Netflix.
Never knew this.
I didn't know that. When I was looking it up, reading about her and stuff, I didn't realize that she had something on Netflix. So I'm going to have to check it out. I don't know if that's old, if it's still on there. But the Netflix lecture is called Brené Brown, The Call to Courage. Now, it debuted in 2019, so it's been a while. But I'm going to check it out and see if it's still on there. But that particular film discussed how and why to choose courage over comfort, equating being brave to being vulnerable. And according to her research, doing this opens people up to love, joy, and belonging by allowing them to better know themselves and more deeply connect with other people. So Brené Brown is the bee's knees, especially when it comes to personal growth and kind of just learning about social psychology and some of the things that move us forward and help us to grow. She also has a number of books, one that's called The Atlas of the Heart. And it has the goal of helping readers expand their emotional vocabulary. So just how to communicate your feelings and how you're feeling. It's one of her many books. She has, I want to say six published books. She has 2 podcasts. Unlocking Us and Dare to Lead. Dare to Lead is actually really cool because it highlights a lot of different change catalysts out there, different culture shifters and leaders in their own respective fields. So she talks to a lot of people who are just leaders in their field and who are making changes. And I think that's really inspirational, especially if you are trying to go down that leadership path as well.
Yeah, because I definitely want a self-aware leader. You know, I feel like that is something that has died or never existed with some baby boomers. It was always in previous, generation. It was always do as I say.
Yeah.
You know, don't question me. I'm in a position of authority versus when you're leading with the open heart, you're open to discussion, feedback.
And they also feel like they can do no wrong.
Yes.
And that can be a problem in leadership because you're a human being and you can do wrong.
You can do a lot of wrong.
You can do a lot of wrong. And most of the people who think they can't do no wrong are the ones doing wrong.
Exactly.
And so you do have to have that self-accountability and that open mind and open heart, you
definitely have to have that, but you also have to be vulnerable because if you are and you're letting me know what is happening, then I'm more likely to understand it from your end. I think it's perspective, understanding why somebody is making a decision and being open about that. That leads to change, change management. A lot of people don't like change, but they don't like change because you're just being told what to do and not the reasons behind it. So it's kind of like get in line or shut out. Yeah, exactly.
Very true. One of her quotes, I think, that ties into what we're going to be talking about today. Oh crap, I didn't put where it came from. I think it actually, oh crap, my bad. Anyway, the quote's good. It says, perfectionism is a
Perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought. If I look perfect and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of shame, judgment, and blame. Understanding the difference between healthy striving and perfectionism is critical to laying down the shield and picking up your life. Research shows that perfectionism hampers success. In fact, it's often the path of depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis.
Thank you so much for that, Frank, because I was dying over here.
Your water.
Girl. You get that little tickle in your throat. Not fun. Anyway, but yeah, so really, really good quote. And it actually just tied into what happened in the moment, right? Because I'm going to leave that part in there.
Okay.
Because guess what? We're not perfect and we're not trying to reach perfectionism. We're just trying to do the damn thing. So, yes, this quote ties into our episode topic today where we're going to talk a little something about the inner critic. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you hear voices in your head?
Girl, yeah, I talk to them too. Like, seriously. Not voices, but I hear my own self think. Like I have a commentary. It's my witness. To the things that are happening. Like I have a commentary. Like when you was choking, it was like, I hope this bitch don't die. Nah, I just messaged.
Well, thank you for your kind thoughts.
That wasn't me. That was somebody else in my head, girl.
That was Juicy Box.
That was Juicy Box.
That's who you blame it on. But so did you actually, so I was listening to a podcast the other day called The Friend Zone, one of my faves, and they were talking, it was an old episode, and they were talking about how there are some people who don't have like an inner monologue. Apparently.
Are they psychos?
That's what I thought. Sorry, y'all, if you're listening to this and you don't have an inner monologue. But there are some people who don't really have an inner monologue, so they don't hear anything inside of their head. They also talked about how some people don't hear voices, but they might like see pictures or drawings or visualizations. Or
I feel like that's a psychic, like they're clear something. Clairsentient. Wait, because there's different types, right? It's clairvoyant, clairsentient, and if you were a psychic and you like, she's saying it wrong. Okay, well, call up here and let us know. It's not gonna happen.
An email,
but let us know. But there's multiple like Clara something.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm clairsentient. Like I can go. I think it means I can go in a room. I can sense things. Right? I can feel things that are not said.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
That sounds
It's
like
very
fun.
good. I love having it.
Yeah, because then you know which rooms
I
to
be reading
in.
people.
I know that's
But
right.
okay, anyways.
Okay. But but so they talked about, inner monologue, and then they went into talking about your inner voice and how you have to decipher what's different between your own voice and the voice of others. And I
Okay.
thought that was really interesting. And it made me think about just my own inner voice and the thoughts that I have, especially when, I don't know, I'm doing something new, or I'm in a new situation, or I'm doing something scary,
Okay.
or something of that, and what I'm actually hearing in my head.
What you're saying to yourself,
What
basically.
I'm saying to myself,
Okay.
right? And how sometimes those words, those thoughts aren't our own, but they're thoughts or they're criticisms or words from or comments from other people.
That makes a lot of sense, because when you think about it, in the span of who you are in all those different years, you've seen things on television, you've had multiple different teachers, you've had your mom, you've had your dad, siblings, and friends, and all of them have different thoughts or opinions. Not even thoughts. They have different opinions that they have basically told you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may have taken that on to be your own when it's not.
Exactly.
Got it.
You got it down.
Yes, I love it.
You have it down pat.
That teacher is still in you, baby, because the way you explained that, I'm like, I get it.
You get it, though.
Yes.
Everybody has gone through that experience. Like, no, firstly, we weren't born with an inner critic. We were born, just with our own thoughts, our own beliefs. Well, not our own beliefs, but our own thoughts. When we're looking at things, we might think those things in our head, whatever the case is. However, over time, like you said, we've absorbed others' opinions, others' criticisms from parents, caretakers, teachers, friends, social media, all of these different things. I can remember when I was in the 4th or 5th grade, I can't remember, and I had a teacher. Miss Nims. Miss Nims had a wide nose and
don't come trying to sue us, Miss Nims. Okay, go ahead.
She can't sue us because it's not defamation, because it's the truth.
Okay.
No, she's not dead. Well, I don't know if she's not dead. I don't know. If you look at her nose was wide and she had greasy skin. And this lady had the nerve. This lady.
Go ahead. Go off.
I'm sorry. She had the nerve to tell me one time, we were doing some math problems and things, and she told me that, oh, you're going to be a slow learner. They're going to call you a slow learner when you get to middle school, because I was in elementary school, when you get to middle school, because I wasn't that good at math.
Okay.
And so in the moment, I was like, well, that doesn't feel really good, but I didn't really take much from it, right? I heard it, and I was like, okay. And I remember going home and telling my mom over the weekend, and it wasn't like in a tattletale type of way.
What Felicia said, I know she got to business, okay?
You already know, that Panamanian lady. So I told her, and I just casually mentioned it. We were having some conversation. I casually mentioned it. And she was like, excuse me? Yeah, she said I was going to be a slow learner, and, and she's like, oh, no, baby, Went up to that school that Monday, because it was over the weekend, went up to that school that Monday. I need to talk to so-and-so, so-and-so. And I wasn't there for the go-off because they went into a conference room away from me. But, baby.
All hell broke loose,
After that, well, now, she did retaliate one time because she was like, I'm not going to call on her, because she was a petty old lady. Oh, that lady was petty.
Some people be miserable.
She was petty. But hearing that, even into, first of all, through school, my schooling, I was never good at math. Oh, I'm not good at math. Oh, I'm slow. And then I remember even into my adulthood, when I would get things wrong or I didn't understand something, I'd be like, oh, I'm slow. I'm kind of slow. And that would be my wording. And that would be what I say. It was only up until maybe like a year or two ago that I stopped saying that. And I was like, I released that. I'm not slow.
How long ago was that? Like, meaning, when did this occur?
That was like 4th or 5th grade.
See, that's so crazy, because to think that for all those times you were walking around with this other person, this bitter bitch voice in your head with her greasy skin in your head saying
that to me. And I never put 2 and 2 together until I really started understanding how your thoughts work and, getting into the whole therapy thing and all that. realizing that this lady's words were in my head all these years, and I allowed that to affect the way I looked at math when I did math in school. I remember taking one class in my college, my sophomore junior year of college, and I actually passed it. I passed it with a B, and I was so excited because I was like, oh my God, I actually get this stuff. Like, I actually understand it, because that wasn't a norm for me. I was always, quote unquote, bad at math. And that was because I had this idea that, oh, this isn't my best subject. Oh, I'm slow at this. And so it's just so important to really decipher what thoughts in your head are from you and what thoughts come from other people. So if you want
a good example.
It really is, right? So if you want to think about the way that our brain works, I would, oh God, 4th or 5th grade. I don't know how old that is. I was a year ahead anyway, so I couldn't tell you how old I was.
Don't be on here trying to brag.
Well,
Even though she said that, I was a year ahead. She was smarter than Miss Nelms.
Indeed. But the way, if you want to, for my sciencey folks, if you want to think about the way that the brain works, when your brain takes in new information, it creates neural pathways, right?
Yes.
So every time we have a new experience, a neural pathway is created. If those experiences are repeated, then that neural pathway is reinforced over and over again. So say, for example, if you're a kid and you're hearing somebody tell you something in particular, you hear that. Every single time you hear that, it becomes reinforced. It becomes reinforced. It gets stronger. It becomes a belief. It becomes what you think, right? And so think about a child. Our prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for conscious decision making and managing our emotions, is not developed until 25. So any of those harsh words, those criticisms and things like that, those things are shaping us during our developmental age.
Oh, that's so sad. Especially to think that 9 times out of 10 in life, when you're going through school and you're dealing with adults, you're dealing with people with a fixed mindset.
Yes.
And not a growth mindset.
Yes.
And those are 2 different languages that they're going to speak to themselves and to others. Like Miss Nelms had a fixed mindset.
Right. You have a lot. You know what's so sad is you have a lot of teachers who don't like kids.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started.
Not like kids, and they have this authoritarian type of
attitude, delivery,
all of those things when it comes to dealing with. I remember one time, I don't remember what prompted me to ask the question to my class, but I asked my students, I was like, hey, real quick, let me ask y'all something. How many of y'all have had a teacher that called you stupid? Nearly all of the children in the class.
That's wild. That's so wild.
I said, wow. And we had to have a conversation because I was like, no, we're not doing this in here. But I was like, so imagine you're hearing that constantly from your teachers, God forbid, sometimes from your parents, and then from friends. And it creates that inner critic. It creates that negative self-talk.
And that inner critic is not your thoughts, but them.
But
the other people's. Yeah, that's it's very sad, and that's why I am a strong proponent or person that advocates for always being around people that have a growth mindset. Because when you're not, you pick up other people's thoughts. So if your friends are talking to themselves crazy, your boss is talking to themselves crazy, sometimes you may pick this up and you're thinking it's your own inner thoughts, and it's a them.
Yeah.
It's a them.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's important to be able to decipher from those things. Also, there's other different impacts than in childhood when we talk about cultural or societal expectations from social media. Right? What we see constantly on social media, who you should be, what you should be doing. I see posts about what you should be doing by the time you reach 30. It's like, what? Well, how supposed to do all that when eggs are $8, the world is burning, rent is so, like, y'all giving me all of these expectations, and it's making life harder. Cultural norms, what women should be doing, right? Or even religious teachings. You're going to hell if you don't do XYZ.
Right.
All of those things can create that negative self-talk or that inner critic that limits us from moving forward or making the proper decisions.
Or living your fullest and your best life.
Or living your fullest and best life.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that is with societal expectations, cultural norms, at the end of the day, this is how I try to look at people. If you're not where I want to be, why would I listen to you?
Hello.
So there's so many people that come on, and I know that they say it's an overpopulation of all of these podcast people, like take the mics back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not where I want to be and you're a podcaster, or you're not where I want to be and you're a celebrity, you being a celebrity doesn't mean anything to me.
Not a thing.
You know, because when I look at my life, it's a holistic part. Like, it's divided into family, experiences, it's fun, it's growth, you know, so there's so many different things. So I think when we start to look at it with a context of, is this person where I want to be?
Exactly.
Do they have something that I admire?
Exactly.
If they don't, I can't get anything from you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is pretty much what what it is when it comes to understanding the concept.
Okay.
But then when you think about identifying the source, right, of that inner dialogue, so trying to figure out, okay, is this me? Is this somebody else? You have to recognize your internalized criticism versus your authentic self-talk.
Okay.
So
explain more.
I'll explain more. So what is internalized? Typically, when you think about internalized criticism, it's criticism, right? It's going to be harsh. It's going to be judgmental. It's going to be absolute. It's black and white, right? This is how it should be. This is how it should not be. It might echo past negative experiences. So things that you've been through in the past, or criticisms that you've heard from people in the past. You might sound like your mom or your dad when they used to criticize you. The same things that they used to say, you're now hearing in your head, or you're now saying to yourself. Or if you want to take it a step further, you're saying to your children.
And the cycle continues.
And the cycle continues. And then I think a big, big, big thing, and a big indicator that it's criticism or negative self-talk or your inner critic is should statements. I hear people say the should statements all the time, and typically it's followed by something that is, unachievable, or really, really high standards, or just so what am I trying to say? It's so out there that it's almost impossible to reach. So certain words can increase emotional distress when they're experienced when we talk to ourselves. And should is one of the biggest culprits. When somebody experiences or says should in their thoughts, it produces an emotional state associated with a demand to achieve something extreme.
Like, can you give me an example?
So, okay, I'll give you a personal example.
Okay.
I live with my mama. I'm 32 years old. I should have my own place, and I should have had my own home and been doing my own thing, but I live with my mom and I'm trying to figure life out.
Got you.
Right? And and for the longest time, I had an insecurity about the fact that I was still living with my mom in my 30s. But I had to take a step back and say, well, now, first of all, my mama ain't throwing me out. Me and my mama don't have no issues. Rent, mortgage, all that shit is expensive.
Very much so.
And if I wasn't first, and then also the biggest thing, that's our culture. My mama didn't kick me out at 18 years old. She didn't tell me, oh, I had to leave, or, is trying to get me out the house. She said, no, stay here. Figure your life out, and when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. And so I had to take a step because of societal expectations, right? American cultural norms, or certain, American cultural norms. It's, oh, you have to leave your home. And so I remember when I would be dating and stuff like that, it would be, oh, I want to come over. I live with my mama. You ain't coming to my mama's house. I don't know you like that.
Right.
And I would be kind of scared to say that. But now, well, first of all, I have a man, so I ain't even got to worry about that. But, it's one of those things that I had to step away from. So I try to take myself out of the shoulds.
Okay.
Because the shoulds sometimes leave me insecure about, certain things. Now, granted, there is balance, right? When it comes to our health, our well-being, things that, quote unquote, we should be doing. But even then, there can be a connotation of, oh, if you're not doing it, then you're wrong. Oh, if you're not doing it, then you're this. And that creates that complex, that creates that criticism, in us. So
Got it.
Yeah,
I understand.
so those are important things when it comes to internalized criticism. So then how do we decipher that from authentic self-talk, who we really are? Well, authentic self-talk is going to be more balanced. It's going to be more nuanced, right? Everything is not in black and white. We can play in the gray. And so we have to take a look at whatever situation it is and really understand, okay, well, is it this or is it that? Can I give myself some grace here? Also, it reflects your core values and your beliefs. So what do you believe in? What is valuable to you? Listen to that, take heed of that and move in that direction. Also, your authentic self-talk is going to encourage your growth, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to have self-compassion. Self-compassion is so big, right? We are human beings. We are of flesh and blood. We are not superhumans. And so we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to do things always the conventional way. And that's okay.
Right, because in those mistakes and doing things the unconventional way, there is actual growth.
Right, there's growth. We learn from it. We move forward. There's beauty in failure.
Yes, there is. I love it so much. Fail forward.
Fail forward. I love that. And also, authentic self-talk feels empowering rather than diminishing. So just know whenever you are, observing your thoughts and really getting to know, what's going on in your head, if it comes from a place of criticism, if it comes from a place of diminishing or talking down, it's likely not you. It's not your authentic self. And it's important to realize that that's coming from someone else or somewhere else. And you might need to take a look at that.
Yes. I like that.
Cute.
You may need to look. Put on them glasses, boo.
Put on them glasses. So, and this is probably something that everybody knows, but I guess it's something that's important to point out, because when we point it out, then we're able to do something with it. So how does that internalized criticism or that inner critic affect our life choices? It affects our life choices in many different ways. For one, it holds us back from reaching our full potential. We tend to take the safe option,
or the option that everybody else took,
or the option or the conventional option, right? That we think, okay, well, this is gonna be the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance. We make decisions that align with our inner critic. So if I listen to my 4th or 5th grade teacher that told me that I'm going to be a slow learner, then I might have made decisions that align with, oh, well, I'm slow, so I'm not going to do all that.
Right.
Oh, I remember one time, my first year in college, as a matter of fact, I failed all of my classes. I went there and I had fun, okay? I had a time. I was partying.
Enjoying life.
I was enjoying life.
You was a college student.
Look, and I was a 17-year-old college student.
So you were young.
I was young, yeah. And I had a time and I was failing. And I remember calling my mom crying. And I was like, college isn't for me. I should drop out and go to, beauty school, since I'm going to do, I like makeup. I'm just going to be, cosmetologist or something like that. And just college isn't for me. And my mama said, you are going to go to your professors. You're going to talk to them. You're going to see what it is that you need to do to pass. And you're going to go to school. You're not coming home. Felicia wasn't playing that. Felicia was not playing that. And that's no shade to anybody that didn't go to college or went to community cosmetology school. But my mama knew that college was where I was supposed to be, even though I didn't know that. And so I had to allow myself to get past the fact that, firstly, I was making all these bad decisions, and get past the fact that I was failing my classes and not really understanding, and really tapping into my potential and silencing that inner critic that told me I couldn't do it, and actually move forward and do what I needed to do.
Yes.
And even though I was on academic probation and then academic suspension, and I lost my financial aid and I had to go to school to get my GPA back up and all that, I still graduated in 4 years. I still was able to, get a job and move forward. And then I went went to grad school and got graduated with a 3.9, so it's fine.
You failed forward.
I failed forward, and that was a story.
Your mom reframed your inner critic too.
My mom reframed my inner critic, and she was able to. My mom has always seen the potential in me. Now, that is not to say that Felicia is not a Caribbean, Panamanian, Bajan woman who is great at being able to I'm not gonna say criticize, but point out when certain things ain't what they supposed to be.
Right.
And I'd be like, Mama, do you always have to tell me what's wrong? But she also in that same breath uplifted me and always saw my potential and always spoke life into me and still speaks life into me to this day. So I think that's essential, and that kind of created that balance that kind of allowed some of the negative chatter to cease,
I understand.
And for me to understand that, okay, this is from somebody else. This is not who I am.
That's not who you, because even when you think about it with the whole entire home thing, if you were like, I'm 32 years old, I need to live out on my own and I need to go get a mortgage or I need to go get a rent, then when you were dissatisfied with teaching, then you would have never been able to be in a position to be able to quit. Exactly. You would have still been doing what you dislike every single day, going in, working your 9 to 5, and then basically going home because you had to do it. But luckily, since you did not listen to societal standards, you were able to quit. You were able to launch your makeup business, to pursue your degree, and successfully pass with this is it an
LMFT?
Okay, yes, whatever those acronyms are. Yes, QRS, TUV, and be able to successfully be able to coach women in the future to see their inner beauty as well as their outer beauty.
Absolutely.
And that is the beauty of listening to your
authentic
self.
Yeah, my authentic self and who I know that I am. I think it's just important to understand, who you are,
baby, and reaffirm it every single day.
Reaffirm it every
the world will try to
break you down. It will try to break you down. Another impact of external voices can be hesitation and second guessing, not trusting your own decisions,
right,
and not trusting what it is that you should be, or I mean, not say should, but what
you want to do or desire to do.
Desire to do. Thank you for that. Like I said, that cycle of self-doubt it keeps going. And a lot of times that inner critic, that critical inner voice, it's so common that people don't even realize that it's not normal.
Right.
They don't notice it.
You've been living with it for since you were young, whenever you became aware. I don't know if it's 5, 6 years old, but whenever you became aware of it, you just start adapting those different things. I think that parents, in particularly aunts, uncles, anybody dealing with children, have to be very conscious about what it is that we are telling our children, because some of the things that you tell kids, I think sometimes it comes from your own experiences or your own failures, but just because you had that experience, it does not mean that that person is going to have that experience. So just an example, my nephew is playing soccer. Oh my gosh. And the kids just basically run around in circles. I don't know what they be doing on the field, but we're all screaming their name kick, kick. And, there's about 2 or 3 kids that are actually on the field who know what they're doing and they're kicking these goals and making these goals. And then there's kids on the field, they're just there. They're just having a good time. Yeah. But I think sometimes our being that we are adults and we know about competition, we want them to compete. And if they don't compete, they didn't kick, then you're like, okay, you'll do better next time. Next time you need to kick this ball.
Yeah.
Instead of reaffirming them, good job with playing and being a part of that team, and acknowledging them, even showing up and being present on that field. So I just think it's very important for parents, teachers, anybody dealing with children, to recognize your own inner critics and not to put that on others, especially our youth, the kids that are our future, that we speak life into them. And we have to recognize, like you said, what are the things that we say to ourselves already that are negatively, and be mindful of it so that we don't spread that on to the generations coming up. Because this generation coming up, they are our presidents. They are our future change leaders. They are our change agents. They have so much ability, capabilities, and let us not be the ones who stop their shine, because they're going to shine bright, baby. Because my nephew is going to shine bright. Like, let me tell you, let me not even start affirming my nephew because he's so amazing. But I feel like every child is amazing. And we have to check ourselves as adults to ensure that we are not putting our own lack on these kids. So I try to do that with when I see the new flight attendants come onto the aircraft. They're all cute and they like 20-something years old. I don't never want to put my negative experiences that I've experienced on them. Instead, I try to speak life into them.
Yeah. And that's so important, especially with this new generation, because they're so smart, they're so capable.
Yes.
But they're also very depressed, and they also deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of, mental health issues. And that comes from, unfortunately, our generation, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X. Anyway, the ones before them, girl, don't even try
I was like, I don't know, I'm a millennial, so
Yeah, we're millennials. We're Gen Y.
Oh, see, I don't know this XYZ.
Z is these new babies.
Okay, gotcha.
And then Gen X is the people before us, before the baby boomers.
Okay, they're like between us. Okay.
But they're dealing with their own things, but thankfully they are more open to mental health. They're more open to therapy. They're more open to self-growth and learning about themselves. So I think they're going to be okay. I hope they're going to be okay.
No, I definitely believe that they're going to be okay. I know that, for lack of better words, some of these generations with their short telomeres, they just need to go sit down somewhere, because I do not enjoy the old school form of thinking.
Yeah.
It just annoys me and it bothers me. Like, I am right. You should do as you're told, not as I say, or, those
do
little
as I say, not as I do.
As I do. All of those different things, thinking that they're better, or they know more, they should never be corrected. Those individuals, to me, had the fixed mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I try to extend grace to them because that was the time, but I also want them to get out the fixed mindset and grow a little. Do you know that you can regrow your telomeres, people? Okay, so they need to.
You can regrow your what?
Yeah, so telomeres are like your lifespan. Everybody has them in their body. As they shorten, that's like your lifespan is shortening. And as they're like longer, that's your lifespan expanding.
And it's called telomeres?
Telomeres. Yes, telomeres. It's cool because I like this guy. Okay, now we're getting off topic. But anyways, he has this book, David Sinclair. He has a book about, I think it's lifespan, but he talks about that, like the telomeres that each of us have.
Nice.
Yeah. Girl, so when
Benita
get ignorant, I just be like, oh, I understand. Your telomeres are getting shorter. They don't know what I'm saying, but I'm like, go look it up in a dictionary. I might be saying it wrong, so people might be like, she needs to go look at how to say it, but whatever.
It's okay,
my telomeres are growing.
Yes, they
are.
So
I always want to continue to grow, but I want people around me who are also growing and don't have like a fixed mindset. Yeah. So this podcast, what you just gave, the information you just gave, I mean, I learned something new too, so we're growing.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just important to be able to notice those things and work with them and be open to a new way of thinking.
I think that's the biggest thing, is to be open to a new way of thinking. And it is hard because when you're taught something over and over again, you think and believe that it's right.
Yeah.
But I believe that we should always challenge, like you said, challenge what you're taught. Is this me? Or is this someone else? Where does this actually come from? And sometimes it's just sitting down with yourself and actually thinking.
And I think a great way to decipher or figure out if you need to challenge those things is how is it affecting you?
Oh, that's a good one.
How is it affecting your day to day? Are you reaching your full potential? If you are reaching your full potential, at what cost? Are you anxious? Do you find yourself depressed? Do you find yourself having anxiety? Do you suffer from imposter syndrome?
Oh, yes.
Because that's a big thing, especially when it comes to that inner critic. Oh, you're not supposed to be here. Oh, they're going to find you out. Oh, you're not qualified.
Oh, you think you're better than other people, so you need to shine a little bit less so that other people can be seen.
Who told you that? Who
Right.
taught you that?
Their insecurities, somebody's insecurities, a teacher.
Right.
Sometimes even a parent, a cousin, a friend, an aunt, somebody that you made. And this is the crazy part. Hold on, let's get down to it.
Let's get to it.
Sometimes as a child doesn't even recognize their light. They're shining so brightly and they make a grown person or individual feel insecure. And in that moment, that adult takes their precious time to dim their light, to blow out their candle, to say something where that child is starting to think, and now they have taken on those actual ideas.
How many times have we seen that in the school?
And you see that in the classroom.
Yes. A student says something or has something profound or maybe might even challenge what the teacher is saying.
Oh.
And instead of the teacher being open and allowing that conversation to happen, they get shut down. And then what happened? You literally see that child shut down.
Yes.
And then they don't say anything else. And then they feel like, oh, I need to dim my light or I did something wrong.
Right. And they didn't do anything wrong. So for anybody that has experienced that, I want to speak to you right now. You are kind, you are smart, you are intelligent.
Yeah.
You did nothing wrong. Whatever it is that person had, that was their own insecurity. It had nothing to do with you. So even shine brighter. I say when somebody says something to you that is negative, it is your responsibility to shine a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Light it up, baby.
Yeah.
You know, and then light somebody else's candle.
Yes.
Shine even brighter.
You burn their ass.
And sometimes it's not even anything you said you do. It's just your being. It's who you are.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
I hate that because I feel like it's always an opportunity. Like I taught pre-AP and AP. Some of those kids were way smarter than me.
Yeah.
And I would open it up. And sometimes you have to be I would have to say, you know what? I don't know anything. This is beyond my knowledge. I will do some more information and research and get back to you. Yeah. I think it's so important to be honest about where you are sometimes. And sometimes you just don't know.
And that's okay.
And baby, sometimes people are smarter. They know more. Sometimes I learned from my students.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that. Right.
All the time they would teach me stuff and I'm like, oh, for real? Let me go look that up. Let me go learn a little bit more about that. And then it shows them that, hey, it's okay to do your own research. It's okay to learn. It's okay, you know? So I just think
because life is about learning.
Absolutely. You're never going to stop learning, ever.
Well, yes, you will. There's some people when you're dead. Right. And then there are some people who are living. They're 25, they're 35, they're 45, they're 55, they're 65. And guess what? They're dead. They're just walking people on earth for dead because they refuse to learn and they refuse to grow. So their tomorrow looks exactly like their day that day before because they refuse to grow.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be in the element of possibilities. You have to be in the element of openness to learn, because when you stop learning, baby, you dead. So this podcast is trying to resuscitate some of y'all, baby. I am like,
I'll do it this
CPR. Yes. Come on back to the juicy box. Pump. Let's get back.
And that'll be all for today. Thank y'all for listening to this podcast.
But I'm saying, it is always good to just do a self-assessment to figure out, is it your authentic voice? Is it your, what is it? The self-critic? Or your
critical self.
Your critical self-voice, your inner critic. And then first get right with yourself.
Yeah.
But then also recognize if to any children, even to your friends and people your age or older, are you being that person that is going to be that negative self-talk?
Yeah.
By you downplaying something about that individual or telling them that they can't do anything. I used to always be told, should never be in your dictionary. You can't.
Oh, yeah. That was one for me too.
Yeah.
That was one for me too. So when you talk about that, then we're going to move on to the positives of it all, right? Because an inner critic is going to shame you. It's going to stop you from reaching your full potential. However, we have to be able to pull out that positive self-talk. So positive external voices can boost self-esteem and your decision making. It's also, and I think you mentioned this before, important to surround yourself with positive influences. Surround yourself with people who speak life into you, right? If you ain't got nobody to speak life into you, go listen to a positive podcast.
Yes.
Go listen to a podcast that might speak life into you.
Hey, you already here if you're listening.
Hey, how you doing? Or even, and one that I've recently done is I've curated my social media to be that of positivity.
Love that.
I have blocked the shade room. I have blocked I have blocked the neighborhoods. All them celebrity gossip, talking crap. Block it. I don't want to see it. And my social media, especially my Instagram, I see positive quotes. I see mental health things. I see things that are uplifting.
Things that are going to help you glow and grow.
Yes, glow and grow. Because when I'm scrolling, I don't want to see stuff that's going to shame me into thinking that I should, or that I'm doing wrong, or in the black and white. So I think that's really important when it comes to your environment.
I love that. I love the flip side, the positive. You need to be like, man, I am the baddest. I am the 1%.
Because why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. One of the things that I used to do, I love I am statements. I used to write them on my mirror.
Yeah.
Like, I am beautiful. I'm confident.
Yeah.
I am intelligent. It's from that movie. What movie was that with Viola Davis? When she had that little child, the other child, and she was like, you were kind, you were smart. It sure is.
You was smart. You was important.
You was important.
Amen.
Yes.
And then lastly is building. Okay.
Building. That's a new word.
Building a healthy internal dialogue by internalizing constructive feedback, right? Because I'm not going to say constructive criticism, but sometimes we might be doing things off or wrong. And sometimes there is feedback that can help us. So using that to help us grow instead of listening to the things that are telling us, oh, you're this, you're that, whatever the case is. So, that's negative. So, that's just the positive flip side of it all.
I love this.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you for teaching today.
You're quite welcome. So we can get into some tools and resources that can be useful for when it comes to.
Yes. Okay. So here are some techniques for reconnecting with your authentic inner voice. Mindful curiosity. So become curious about where the thought comes from. So when something comes up, sometimes it's just asking, where did this come from? Is this something that I heard when I was growing up, or is this me? Did something make me feel uncomfortable? And then from something making me feel uncomfortable, I created this narrative in my head.
Yeah.
One thing I love to do, journaling to distinguish the differences between your inner voice. Because, girl, I'll be having voices in my head, okay? And I feel like one of the reasons why prior to going back to therapy, I didn't like to journal because I felt like if I wrote it down, it was real. And my therapist was like, no, it doesn't make it real, but you journaling it allows you to see it and to process, is this real? Is this me? Or is this something that somebody else sees?
Yeah.
So she's like, you journal it. But if you're going back and you're reading it, then you are able to decipher because it's all out on paper. Then you can choose, these are the facts.
Yeah.
These are things that I have created.
Yeah. And if there are things that you've created or that somebody has said to you, I always say, okay, after you've gone back and read it, don't go back and read it over and over again. Scratch it out, take it out, burn it, release it, but don't allow that to be something that you go back and look at, because then it can re-traumatize, it can reinforce, and you don't want to do that. And then thinking about, I want to go back to what you said about the mindful curiosity. Is what you're telling yourself, does that sound like something someone else said? Does that sound like your mom or your teacher or whoever, wherever it came from? And then, that's that. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Would I say this to someone I care about. So I always take my nephew, for example, and I'm like, will I say this to him?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want to build him up. I think he is freaking amazing. If y'all know my nephew, he is amazing. He's the cutest. He's just adorable. So sometimes I think about, when I'm thinking about creating legacy, I think about leaving something to the generations that are after me. But in leaving, me doing and being is leaving something to him, if that makes sense. So how I speak to him and how I speak to myself, because they're watching, even when you don't think that they are watching. So they can see when you have that negative talk or you say these negative things to yourself.
They're little sponges and they absorb what they see. So you, like you said, when you are in leaving something to him, you are, wait, how did you say it?
When I'm leaving, me doing and being.
There you go. You doing and being is also leaving something to him, because you're modeling to him.
He's witnessing it every day.
He's witnessing how I should be, how I should talk to myself, how I should move through life. So kudos to you, Auntie.
Actually, I'm a Tati, but okay.
Oh, excuse me, Tati. My bad.
All right. Developing a strong sense of self. I think developing a strong sense of self is so important, and that requires you to be okay with spending a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
And not necessarily a lot of time alone, but just time by yourself.
That's a lot of time alone.
Which, yes, and it can be taking yourself to dinner. It can just be meditating. It could just be being at your house, not in need of your cell phone, not in need to be connected to someone else or to an object or something. Just being in your thoughts and solidifying yourself in that.
I was watching, I don't know if you watched Tia Mowry's new show.
Oh, no, girl.
I love it.
Okay, I might have to check it out.
She's funny. She's really funny to me. But on there, you know, she just recently had the divorce. Recently, apparently,
it's 2 years ago.
2 years ago. I thought it was this year. Where have I been?
It's only because of the promo trail, and that's what I don't like, is that they only show snippets, so you don't get the full picture.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. But she talked about how, because you know she was born with a twin. She couldn't date until she was born with a twin. Yeah.
I hate you. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but she she was in the womb with her twin. She was born with someone else. You know, she's never.
Okay, sorry. Okay, straight face. She was born with someone else. Her sister, Tamara.
Yeah.
Is that who it is? Okay, yeah.
I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking, but anyway. But she's never been alone, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
She's always had a partner, always had someone else, right? And so now that she's divorced and having to navigate the world by herself, I think in this last episode that I was watching, she was like crying because she's like, I just want someone to love and someone to hold me and things like that.
And she got kids. Okay, but go. Okay.
Intimately, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, but I wondered, like, how healthy is that
you need somebody outside of yourself to feel validated.
Yes, because granted, yes, I understand that you came into this world with another person right by your side. But how healthy is that when it comes to being able to navigate the world and being able to just stand in your own? So I just, you know, that's something, understanding and having a strong sense of self is just really, really important when it comes to knowing who you are and listening to your authentic voice.
Yes, I agree. Setting healthy boundaries with other people's opinions. I think that is so important. And sometimes you have to reframe. That may be true for you, but that's not true for me. Sometimes you got to say that out loud. I say that all the time. That may be true for you, but that's not true for me.
There's a meme of this girl. Oh, God. I think it was from like Bad Girls Club or whatever. But anyway, the meme is like her and she's pointing. She's like, to you.
Okay.
I use that all because I'm like, to you.
That
got nothing to do with me.
Yes. Because people don't realize, and I know this episode is kind of going on, but people don't realize that you are not the same person. Two people can be the same age, they can be the same sex, but they didn't grow up in the same household. They didn't have the same experiences.
And even if they did,
they still would be two totally different individuals. So your story is not somebody else's story.
Look at Tia and Tamara, going back to that. Twins, same DNA.
Yes.
They are
two totally different people.
They are two completely different people.
They
I
are.
won't go into, but if you know, you know.
You know why I'm laughing? Okay, I'm gonna tell this quick story. But
tell me, I love stories.
Okay, so it is history. One thing that I love about my family being from Louisiana and being Flash Creole, is that we actually know our histories. And this is, when I say actually, it kind of sounds like I was trying to downplay other people who don't know their history. I really wasn't trying to do that. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, so my great-great-grandmother came from Congo to Louisiana. Okay. She was on her master's, what do you call that? Plantation. Mm-hmm. Okay. She had sex with her husband. Mm-hmm. She had sex or was raped probably by the master. Yeah. And she conceived. Mm-hmm. She ended up conceiving with twins.
Wow. Okay.
When the twins were born, one of them was black, like full black, and one of them looked white. Wow. So they wanted to put them in the actual circus.
Wow. Really?
Yes. Yes.
That is interesting. I freaking Louisiana. I mean, I don't know if that really has anything to do with Louisiana, but I love Louisiana history. Like, just, oh my God. It's just so like in line with like Caribbean and Spanish, and French. And I love it. But that is interesting. Is that somewhere in a book, in a museum? Like,
you can go, well, I know it because it's the story that's been passed down from generation to generation. And we've also done research. So you can go to like the library and our local town. And be able to find some of that. But okay, I'm about to get on a whole nother topic because that would take me down a whole entire rabbit hole. You laughing? I'm not about to
say is you
okay, moving on. So, okay. With all of those different things, those are all the tools and techniques for reconnecting to your authentic inner voice. And then we also have like resources. Okay. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. You right. Resources. If you can't conquer something on your own, remember that there is always therapy. Yes. I recommend therapy. I'm an advocate of therapy. I have been to therapy multiple times. Mm-hmm. And I think that it basically helps you to see yourself outside of yourself. And also it helps you reframe some of your thinking, etc. And then going back to our actual person, our pioneer woman, Brené Brown, right? What?
Yeah, that's her.
Okay. I just forgot. She has a book called The Gifts of Imperfection. Mm-hmm. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. Yeah. I love that statement. I think it's very, very powerful. Mm-hmm. And here's one of the quotes. Wholeheartedly living is about engaging with our lives from a place of worthiness. It means cultivating the courage, compassion, and connection to wake up in the morning and think, no matter what gets done and how much is left undone, I am enough. It's going to bed at night thinking, yes, I am imperfect and vulnerable and sometimes afraid, but that does not change the truth that I am also brave and worthy of love and belonging. And I just felt that all in my heart. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I think that closed us out for your tools and your resources on this episode.
Oh, let me make a really quick note. Going back to therapy and talking about that, there is something called acceptance commitment therapy, mm-hmm. which is a form of therapy or like an intervention that some therapists might use to help when it comes to battle negative thoughts. And so I know we talk a lot about cognitive behavioral therapy, but there's different therapy mm-hmm. modalities. And so if you are looking for a therapist, that might be something you might want to ask them about if they do utilize that specific modality. And basically what it is just accepting the negative thoughts that do come to your brain and then releasing them. So saying, okay, this is a thought, basically taking yourself away from that thought, externalizing it. So this is a thought that has come to my brain. This is something that's here. Okay, I see it. It's here. And now I'm going to release it.
I love that.
So that's just a different way. And that's something that you can look up. I'm not going to get too into it, but something that you can ask a therapist about if you want to utilize that modality.
Yeah, and if you have an employee plan, then one of the great things that you're able to do is you can tell them what type of therapy you're looking for. And once you tell them, they will send you a list of those types of therapists. So definitely utilize your employee resource management plan, whatever it's called, EP something.
EAP, Employee Assistance Program.
Yes, utilize the EAP of that program. Okay, girl. So that was our tools and our resources.
And then we're going to get into just some affirmations to say as we close out ourselves and close out ourselves?
As we close out.
And ground ourselves with some affirmations. Okay. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes.
Keep them open.
Find a comfortable space.
Tap into your inner juice box. Saying, like, seriously, it's a good place to be in. Tap into it.
It's a beautiful place to be.
Okay.
You're welcome. What is it with us today?
Okay, I don't know, but tap into that place. Okay.
Take some deep breaths.
My past does not define my future.
I choose to focus on my strengths and potential.
My self-worth is not determined by others' opinions.
I release the need for perfection and embrace growth.
Yes. So your true voice is waiting to be heard. It's the voice that whispers your dreams, that knows your worth, and that believes in your ability to create the life you desire. As you leave this episode, I challenge you to tune into that voice, nurture it, and trust it.
Amen. And we hope today's episode gives you the tools and encouragement to silence your inner critic and allow your higher self to shine through. And with that being said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Desire to Be Free. If you found any gems in this episode, please share it with another beauty, because our goal is to liberate women all across the world. Okay. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Hey, at _desire to be free. And always remember to follow your desires.
And you just might find freedom.